Perfect. That announcement is always a tiny bit unnerving.
Yes, it is.
I guess
It is.
maybe that's on purpose. Okay. Okay. We got one, we lost one. We're going through, perhaps we're having a little difficulty getting in. So we'll start slow, and we'll hopefully folks can catch up as we go. Well, welcome. I'm Laura Leopard. I'm the CEO of Leopard Solutions, and we want to talk with you today about what value our product can provide and what advice we can give during these crazy times. We are currently in a very hyperactive, hyper-competitive environment right now. Firms are really scrambling to hire, recruiters are racing to fill jobs. And to compete for talent, firms will need to stand out in really positive ways. So knowing your competition, as well as your own strengths and weaknesses, that will be key in securing talent. Right now, we have over 11,000 active jobs in our job program. In the US alone, we have almost 9,500. We've never seen numbers like this. Usually it's between 6,000 and 7,000. So this is really completely outsized, and will tell you how frenetic that the hiring environment has become. Another statistic is that we have already beat the numbers from previous hiring of laterals year by year by year. And just last week, this number was 10,462, and now we're almost at the 12,000 mark. So I think we can easily estimate that lateral hires are going to go over that 14,000 mark by the end of the year. So what does this really mean? And are there things that we should be worrying about? For law firms, I think it's really going to be a struggle to set your firm apart from the rest. However, knowing what the rest are doing would help you do that. Comparison analytics can drive differences home to candidates and make your firm look more attractive. So now more than ever, you really must be able to stand out in order to bring those prized laterals to your firm. So to keep up to date on important changes in your competing firms, our Firmscape Alerts are great for knowing office openings, closings, lateral moves, changes in the growth decline report, promotions, changes in salary, all of that we watch for you. We deliver this information into your inbox Wednesday mornings and Friday mornings as we're updating our whole database. You can set specific alerts firm by firm by firm and what you want to measure, and this will keep you on top of what's going on at your competitors and the overall market. So we want you to know that we care what you care about, right? And firms that are actively working to hire attorneys who have been traditionally underrepresented, you care about that, and we care about that. And we decided last year to take a big step to include diversity information into our data for the very first time. And it was really important for us to do that as a woman-owned business. And after the summer of George Floyd, we really said, this is now a must. This is something that we must do. So it took time, it took money, it took a lot of effort, but now it's really delivering, because we did see those numbers go up in the last year of diversity hires. It may not have increased the overall pie because all hiring was through the roof, but we really think this is delivering. We are not charging a fee. We're adding this into Leopard List subscriptions, and we're making this available to really help move that needle in the right direction. We are not determining ethnicity. We are not marking the records in any way. We are simply grouping attorneys who have a high probability of being diverse. If you are a Mansfield Rule firm, you receive this filter automatically. If you are not, we have our own Leopard Diversity Pledge that you can sign in order to access this filter. This is really to protect those candidates and to make sure that this data is being used to put diverse candidates in law firms, not to exclude them for searches. So we're really trying to protect this data as well as make it available. So once we put that diversity information on the attorney records, we were able to report on it. So diversity information is available in multiple reports across our system in both Firmscape and our Leopard BI. And you can view this information about your own firm or your competing firms. So when you run a growth decline report, you can see who's growing in diversity. You know, numbers do matter, but so do steps in the right direction. So you can show diverse candidates that you are committed to including underrepresented groups at your firm. Whether you have 2 diverse candidates working for you or 210, it's that growth percentage that matters, because it says you are working on that initiative, and that is a number that you can easily share and compare with your competing firms. So our growth decline report, right? This report shows the growth and decline in headcount for every single firm in the system. And it allows you to find possible lateral targets as well as position yourself well. If your overall score is not great, then look for your strengths within the report. Hiring in a certain market with a particular practice can show some really strong numbers, right? That can be your lead when looking for similar attorneys. Growth decline is never even across offices and practices, so you can just find your own bright spot to talk about. And then you're talking about data, you're talking about real data, and that can make a difference. Once you hire, then you should also measure the success of those hires. And our entrance and exit report gives a look into the recruiting success and can help pinpoint possible problems. So you can look by location, by practice, by schools, and build a story to share with candidates, right? A USC grad might like to hear that you have a high success rate from attorneys from that school. A strong practice number shows that people are happy in their work. Good retention is as important as the initial hire. Locating problem areas and addressing those issues can really strengthen retention over time. And you can compare your numbers to your competing firms. You can look for the last 12 months. You can look for 2019, 18, 16, 17. You decide the time frame. But it's also instructive to look at those last 12 months because that will show your immediate successes or failures and help pinpoint what you might need to look at for future recruitment. If you go into our BI suite, you're going to get a more in-depth look by using our ROI report. You can benchmark your firm against any firm that you like. You'll also see a projected financial cost to less successful recruitment. And that can be something you could take to leadership and say, we really need to change, our strategy on recruitment, and here's why. This will also go into multiple data points to help you diagnose where your problems are. You can look by type, by location, by practice, and then again, continue to benchmark against your competing firms. If you are looking to grow by an acquisition or a merger, you really have to see our M&A tool in our Leopard BI suite. So if they're looking for targets, our M&A tool is really unique. You can quickly find possible candidates and then have our AI assess the risks involved before even the first step. right? You can say, I'm looking for a litigation boutique or an IP boutique in Atlanta. Show me my possibilities. When you want to see the results, you click in, you're going to get a projected a success score, after the merger via retention. You're able to see who might leave in the first year, second year, third year. All of this AI is based on past mergers, and that's where we're getting some of this projection. Knowing possible attrition risks, knowing where your risks lie with cultural issues, conflicts, and other risks can give your firm the information it needs before it does any sort of outreach. It starts the process on more solid ground by providing an initial assessment of success before you even begin, right? If we look at our attorney entrance and exit report, this is where you can analyze the hires of your own firm or of your competing firms. Where do they hire from? When attorneys leave this firm, where do they go? How long did they stay at my firm? They came in as an associate, but when they left and lateral to a different firm, they were immediately promoted to partner. So it helps make sense of your departures and helps you to understand your competition as well. And this is in our Firmscape product. Now, our law firm index also debuted about a year ago, and it was created to provide a real-time look at sort of the health of a firm. A once-a-year assignment of a score is really completely outdated in this fast-paced world. We see firms almost every year in the top 200 that go under or are acquired, and yet they're still ranked among the top firms in the country for the remaining 8-9 months of the year. We also believe that financials do not tell the entire story about firm health. So we have compiled the data points that we believe speaks to firm strengths and weaknesses in an effort to give greater insight into the legal landscape. Having better insight is essential in planning, forecasting, and ensuring success. This is an ever-changing metric. As the firm changes their score, their score can change from week to week. And if you are part of the Leopard Top 250, you can contact Phil for your badge to display on social or on your website. So our law firm index, we show the Leopard Top 250 every week. You can find it on the resource tab. You can go see where you fall. That's publicly available. But if you want to know what's behind your index score, we have a report in our BI suite that's going to show how that score was compiled, right? Our full index report gives users a point-by-point reason for the score given. Firms in the traditional top 200 have scores of poor and fair. And if you run this report, you can see why they were given that score, point by point, as well as see them benchmark against their competing firms. Our competitor match tool was created by a direct request from law firms who said, I have competitors all over the place. I have different competitors in Boston than I do in New York. So who are your competitors in Boston in the corporate practice area? Who are your competitors in the banking practice area all across the country? This report can tell you in seconds. You can also adjust it as needed for better benchmarking. This is our newest tool. We are so excited about it. This is our Alumni Tracker, and it is really a game changer for alumni programs. So by pulling in data from both the Leopard list and our in-house database, we can give you a current contact list of your alumni that we have tracked to their new position. We have information for firms of all sizes because we have information for every single firm in our database. This report will change weekly as new information becomes available. So whether used for business development or for finding alumni to return to your firm, this report really keeps you up to date like never before. We've had firms come in here and demo this product and then go and look at their own database and say, wow, we thought we were doing a good job, but we're really out of date on a number of these folks. You've got to see it for yourself to believe it. We have a new report. We have actually now, this will be our third connection tool. Two of them are for firm business development One is on for a single attorney business development. One is for firm business development. This is for recruitment. So this is our firm recruitment connection tool, and it's going to be out in early November. So we know that you like to do lateral outreach, using members of your firm, right? And now we're going to make it even easier. You can just input your firm and put in the name of the attorney that you want to do some outreach to, or you can grab an entire worksheet that you've compiled in our Leopard List program, and we're going to quickly show you who in this worksheet has the most connections into your firm, right? Then once and we're making connections via previous employment or law school, there's multiple connection points, and we connect all those dots for you just to enhance that soft call approach for outreach. So once you decide the attorney that you want to see, all right, who in my firm has those 269 connections, right? You just put that in, and we're going to outline it all for you. Who in your firm knows who? You can decide who's going to do the best outreach and make that soft call, so you can sort of warm the ground to begin that lateral outreach for that person that you want to connect to. We've also, over the last, I would say, 5 or 6 months, created a really great webinar program. We are doing some wonderful webinars with terrific guests, where we are not only sharing our data, but we're bringing on some really heavyweight guests to help answer questions that you might have on various topics, whether it's diversity, recruitment, or it's the hard road for, women to make partner in law firms. We're really doing this as a service to the industry. They're all free. You can go right to our YouTube page and you can see some of these webinars directly. Everyone is welcome to join. And we'd love to have many of you as guests for our webinar series. So now I'm going to turn this over to Phil, and he can try to demo in the live, but I think he's going to struggle a tad. He's in a hotel room at a different conference.
Yeah, so looks like all the conferences were booked for October. Everyone was hoping the fall was going to be back to normal, but we're getting there. We're getting there. So you see my screen, okay, right, Laura?
I do.
Okay, perfect. So just to kind of touch on some of the things that Laura had talked about, especially for those that might have joined a little late, just some high level things. As a law firm, it's a very competitive market. We have right now, we're showing as of today, as of 1 o'clock on Friday, over 11,300 active open attorney jobs. Every day open jobs are being added. Every day open jobs are being closed. And as a law firm that is trying to compete for, corporate associates or litigators or real estate, all the hot, practice areas right now, how can you stand out, not only with finding folks, either diverse folks or, qualified individuals to add to your firm, or retaining the individuals that you have at your firm? What can you do to stand out from the crowd? So our legacy tool, our Leopard List attorney search tool, there's some aspects even within that database that can help. Laura spoke mostly about our firm intelligence platforms, Firmscape and Leopard BI, but real quick within our Leopard List product, we have some algorithms and some predictability modeling that could be useful for you to find and uncover individuals that might be interested in leaving, and also understand at your own firm the individuals that are more likely to leave, so that you can put a strategy in place to retain those folks to ensure that they don't go anywhere. So just running a particular search here real quick. Hopefully everyone is able to see it, because again, I'm kind of working off my laptop here, but so looking through this, sample list that I just pulled together, you're going to see some individuals that are matching the criteria that I put together, and I sorted it by the probability of move, just to get a general sense of the individuals that are more likely to move. And again, that's based on the 20 years of data collection that we've been doing, and analyzing individuals that have left different firms, why they left, how they've left, firms that are moving, the volatility in the market right now in practice areas, and all those factors go into the predictability and the modeling of that. When you're looking at an individual, you get to see their history, you get to see all their information about that individual, you get to see a click to their firm report, So if you're uncovering that in competitive intelligence on that firm, you're able to model that and review that information across the firm, whether the diversity information, the practice area breakdowns, the breakdown by office location and movements of those attorneys back and forth from where those attorneys are coming from and where the attorneys are going, and how that firm is trending, over the past 12 months, and how that's modeling overall. So this gives you that kind of high level view into a firm to really understand the information related to them. And this is also where you can configure some of those alerts that Laura was talking about before, information related to any changes at the firm, either at the office level, at the overall growth level, promotion level, and so on. If you were to look at information about an individual firm, and maybe you wanted to see, again, your own firm and take a look at, sorry, bear with me. So we're going to bring up your own firm and you want to see how your firm is doing, and understand where, again, that retention aspect, who are the people that are more likely to leave based on our algorithm. We have recruiters reaching out, trying to find these individuals. You're going to want to put in a strategy in place to make sure that these individuals, recruiting is done obviously outside the firm, but it's also done within the firm. So it's extremely important to make sure in this volatile time that you're maintaining the individuals that you have in your organization. Okay. Jumping over into the Firmscape tool, these are a list of all the various reports. The growth decline report is the one that Laura was just, talking about before. And this is, again, where you can run specific reports. And again, bear with me, my laptop screen's a little small, but you can see you can run modeling based on, diversity, in the last 12 months. You can go back 3 years, 5 years, you can go back 3 months. Again, painting the picture that demonstrates the growth in certain areas of your firm as you're projecting the value of your firm and the vision of your firm to potential candidates. And again, even individuals within the firm, giving them a path forward into how the firm is doing overall. So look at the different areas that are strengths for your firm. So if you're growing in your associate diversity ranks, let's say in the IP area, you can run that analysis and get a sense of how you're doing in comparison to those firms that you typically compete with, or that an individual might be looking at your firm and other firms and have a handful of firms that they're interested in going to, and you want to illustrate the value that the vision that your firm has, and it meets the vision of the candidate and where they want to be in the next 12 months, 3 years, 5 years, and so on going forward.
Exactly.
Okay, and our little leopard is running in my hotel internet, so I apologize. So.
I don't think we anticipated you being out in the wild, so to speak,
No.
when this came up this week. Yeah.
No. So. Right. Okay. All right. So. Just running through this, you get a list here, which again is a little hard to see, but you can see essentially, for example, the first firm here, has in the IP practice last 12 months, associates has grown 150% in diversity associates for that specific practice. Again, just showcasing, it's not substantial growth in numbers, but percentage wise, it shows a commitment to growth within associates and diversity and IP in 12 months. And again, you can arrange the timing, the type of attorney, the practice area. You can really get very granular in your analysis as you're trying to compare yourself with other firms that you typically would compete with. I wanted to also jump into, because I know we're coming up on about 5 minutes left in this session. So I wanted to jump into, I know Laura, you had talked about the firm connection report specifically geared towards finding a recruit. I have an attorney and you want to see who within your firm has relationships with that attorney as a way to reach out to them. But even using the existing firm connection report, because business development is essentially a form of recruitment.
Yeah.
So, and it's also great competitive intelligence. So if you wanted to, understand if not only your own firm, but potentially other firms that you might compete with, and see, and you've identified, certain strengths that they have with regards to client relationships or certain industries, you can dive in and really understand where their strengths are in connections with other companies. So here's an example of, this firm with Southern Company, and there's a strength of 201 high-level connections between the organizations. And those connections are not only with their past experience and the current experience. They could be at that firm right now. They could also be at another firm, and they both happen to work together somewhere. So here's an example where I looked up one firm, Nelson Mullins, but Noel Wooten and Ross Andre worked together in litigation practice for 4 years at Kilpatrick, completely separate firm from the original search criteria that we did, but shows that relationship between those individuals and all the other relationships that we have. And this report's valuable because it gives you also that information that you can use to do those outreaches for the individuals, either at the attorney or the corporation, looking for, those opportunities, either grow, internally at your firm or as a business development opportunity. You touched on a lot of the other stuff, the ROI report, the firm index report. There's not really, the firm index report, I think, is valuable just to really talk through. Again, because we update our data twice a week, I think it's important to note when you're looking at the information related to the different things, we're focusing in on the growth of those of the law firms, how well they're growing, how well they're retaining attorneys, how well they're promoting attorneys, the financial stability over the last 5 years of the law firm, and how well they retain them within the past year, and how diverse the firm is. So all of these categories take into effect their overall score and how it's kind of trended over the last 12 months. So and when we look at the last 12 months for retention, 98%, almost 99% of all their laterals that they brought in the last 12 months have stayed, which is a great number. You would think that would be 100%, but it's amazing when we see some firms, those numbers are actually quite low. People that have come onto it, you invest all that time and effort into onboarding a lateral or an entry-level hire, and they don't even stay for the 12-month period. So understanding what those actual numbers are, and seeing how that is and how that might even compare against other firms, you can get a sense of how well your firm is doing. And again, use this as a way to paint the picture or sell the story of why your firm is achieving the vision that you're setting out to hit. Anything that you want to add, Laura, on your end? I know we're right around the 120 mark here.
No, it's just we are continuing to develop that Leopard BI. We're rolling out almost a report every month, and we are consulting our law firm clients as we go. So we are really building this in partnership with law firms. And if anyone would like to get a sample report or take a look at our Alumni Tracker, we welcome you to reach out to Phil and the team. They'll be happy to show it to you. I think you'll be pretty impressed by what you see.
Yeah. And also just I dropped in here the link to register for our newsletter, just to reemphasize.
Oh, that's great.
We do a newsletter twice a week, which provides a lot of the thought leadership that Laura had talked about. It has information about our webinars, the infographics. We just had a great session on general counsel feedback and awareness with some in-house counsel that attended and provided their insights.
Which was fascinating. And now there's an entire white paper that you can get that details all the information from that webinar. And our newsletter is not a typical newsletter. We call it Leopard Insider. And there's information in there that no one else has, right? We don't even have in a report. Who's searching for what? What was the big search this week? So there's lots of information. Sign up for the newsletter and we will share that with you.
Great. And I don't see any questions, but again, if anyone does have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out to us, connect with us on LinkedIn. We look forward to chatting and hope everyone enjoys the rest of the conference.
Thanks, guys.
Thank
Thanks
you.
for joining. Bye-bye.